Okay, I thought this would be a good video to kind of start. And people know that I've reacted kind of to this video of this guy, the older millennial, on another video that I did. But I wanted to get more into the psyche of everything a little bit more here. Anyway, let's continue.
We're not on the wrong side of TikTok. Okay. Why don't you mind the problems of white women?
And what problem would that be? Dealing with all the attention they get from successful white and black men? And it ain't racist to point out the reality.
For one, I kind of feel like I don't know what the previous woman was trying to say. The problems with white women. Are you saying there's a problem with white women? Are you speaking negatively of of white women? That's what I want to know, but I can't know because I don't know the previous video. So that's a part of why I'm kind of like, I'm not really sure about that part. But if he was defending, I'm okay with that. No, what I wanted to address is something further than that. Let's continue.
Successful black men, they go and get themselves a white woman. A feminine, submissive white woman. One who wants to focus on taking care of her man. Not, as you said, get their bag. Because one thing is true for white and black men. Neither of us are turned on by you getting your bag. But that's fine. You go ahead and get yours. Make all the money you can and be set for life. You're going to need it. Because the type of men that are sticking around for women like that, yeah, they're going to need to be taken care of. They're going to need somebody to pay their living expenses. Because all the successful black men went and found themselves a white girl. But you go ahead and get your bag and pick from the ones that are left over. The ones the white girls threw back. Be mad if you want to. Doesn't change the reality one bit.
I didn't think it was possible to cram that much.
So, to me, the way I feel about this situation is I feel like, okay, the way he's acting, he's saying that basically he's had this idea before where he's trying to say that white is feminine, black is masculine. What I don't get with these type of situations is this. Two things. Why do white men and Hispanic men do this to themselves in these situations when they don't realize what they're saying about themselves? So, if you think that the races are feminine or masculine, then you basically are saying this. That black people are masculine and white people are feminine. So you're saying that black men are more masculine than white men. You're saying that you think you are feminine and you think your mannerisms are more feminine than black men. You're probably also intimidated by black men and you feel your masculinity is challenged by black men. This is something that I don't personally mind because for me personally, I benefit from things like this because that's one of the dynamics between white men and black men that some people can benefit from. You know, I talk about certain things in regard to my own private life, my own career, my own income, and so forth. That is another way I financially benefit. Anyway, I thought this was interesting because I kind of feel like I don't get why people say it, though. Like, I know that there are white men that feel inferior, like their manhood is inferior to black men. But why do they say it in these situations? You see how it seems like with this type of person, they have a lot of energy for black men. And that energy can sometimes be a sexual energy. That energy can be an energy of admiration and a sexual energy and a sense of feeling inferior. And to me, it's kind of like, in my experience, I've had situations where personally certain men will have fantasies about black men where they basically feel like black men overtake their masculinity. So they feel like they have to defend black men in this regard because they feel like anyone who would want them is just basically using them, because the truly desirable man in all his masculinity is black men to these type of men. These type of men don't understand any other interest because they themselves mainly have interest in black men. Their sexual fetish, their sexual fantasy is black men. And it stems from the whole idea that white men are feminine and black men are masculine. This whole idea that he creates exposes himself and also feminizes a lot of white men, which bothers me a lot as a person who prefers white men, because it's like I don't see the feminine qualities in white men. I really don't. If I did, I wouldn't be attracted to them. You know, I see more masculine qualities in white men than black men. This is physical, of course. I I don't know. To me, it's just like feature-wise, white people, white men. White women are not masculine looking. I'm not trying to degrade white women. I don't believe in doing such a thing. But white men tend to have very masculine features and look very different than their female counterparts. Black men, for whatever reason, don't. They tend to look like their female counterparts, and you can't tell them apart. This is why, when it comes to transsexuals, black transsexuals tend to look like each other, basically. Because if you look at a dark skinned black person, male or female, it's the same face, basically. But and those features that they have are generally feminine, because I mean, like, who has ever said that a man who has high cheekbones, big feminine girly lips, soft round nose, almond shaped eyes, or flat brow ridge and soft hairline to be masculine features? Oh, I forgot the round chin and the round jaw, and also lack of body hair. Anyway, those features I just listed were all feminine features. And the masculinity that is associated with the black race is generally more the animalization of the black race. And I see this a lot, like I said, in the type of field that I'm in, where there's a lot of animalization of black men. I don't see a lot of animalization of black women, honestly, because I don't really, I'm not really, I guess, an expert in that field. You would think I would be, honestly. It's just that, I don't know, I think it's because of how I sound that that's generally not the field I have any expertise in, honestly. Um, I never had anything against it. I don't judge people who do, I wouldn't look down or anything. I mean, get your money as any way you want to get your money, Talk about what you want to talk about. It's fine. For me, I think actually this suits me more because it's like I'm a dominant person, so it's a really good field for me. But yeah, to me, I mean, the things that he's expressing are very similar to the basically BBC cucks that I speak to on a regular basis. Um, they tend to have that fantasy that blackness is masculinity, blackness is an animalized version of masculinity, and sometimes they will let that out, but many of the time they're very focused on the masculinity of black men, and with that, of course, they would assume black women are masculine, of course, but with the same idea that white men have the same perspective, that white men are feminine, basically, because white men are the opposite of black men. So to me, I mean, like having this whole obsession and interest in proclaiming your belief and desire to think of black women in a masculine light, which would honestly mean that he's also saying that white women are feminine. Like I said, he's saying that he is feminine. That's how it goes, basically. When you associate race with masculinity and another with femininity, all those in that race become feminine, and all those in that race become masculine. There are no exceptions. So, to me, it's an obvious situation of someone who possibly might be bisexual or have some kind of bisexual fetish towards black men, in my opinion, because that's generally the assertion of the idea that black men are masculine and white people are feminine. Also, one other thing I wanted to say in this is I kind of just feel like with the whole thing of black men or whatever with white women, I think the only people who care about that are the people who are attracted to black men. But I don't think most black women are attracted to only black men. I don't think that most black men are attracted to black women. I don't. I think that black men are mostly attracted to white women. Rightfully so, because our society is mostly white women. And the same goes for black women. Most of our society is white men. So, therefore, we're going to mostly be attracted to white men. And I feel like he is triggered by this because he feels like people like this who have this idea usually feel like black women will out masculinize them. And this is their fear, basically, with black women because they already feel the black race is masculine. So then it's very uncomfortable to someone who is at all traditional minded to think a masculine woman is with a man who he perceives as feminine, as he perceives white men as feminine. I do not perceive white men as feminine at all. I see them as the standard to masculinity, and that's not my fault that I see that. It's just because of the society I was raised in. You know, when I say the standard, it's just kind of like the norm, I'm saying. I don't see it as if white men are a good example of masculinity, and I don't see them as a bad example. They're just the standard because they're the majority. You get what I'm saying? But my point in this is that's what bothers him about black women who prefer men of other races because these type feel like it goes against their traditions of thinking basically that black is masculine and white is feminine, because now the roles are reversed in their head. They don't think someone who's a black woman can be feminine for a man who is white, because they think the white man is already feminine. You get what I'm saying? Because you wouldn't push. I don't get why a white man would push that the white race is feminine while he's within the white race, unless he doesn't want to be masculine and he wants to be feminine. This guy, I think, is someone who would overcompensate, basically, to not let people know that naturally he's more of the type that, has a fascination with another man's masculinity because he feels feminine deep down, and he feels like black men basically are, you know, more masculine than him. So I do think that a part of this has to do with why he would focus on black women and white women when he has nothing to do with this. He's not a woman. You know what I mean? And he's not a black man for that matter. So why would he be concerned about this? And the reason why is because the whole situation with black men and white women makes him feel more and more insecure. It makes him feel more and more feminized. It makes him feel more and more inadequate compared to black men. And because of this, he feels like he wants to transfer it onto black women, to white women, to basically offset how he feels in comparison to black men. So that's how I feel about this. Because, I mean, like, it wouldn't make any other sense. Why would someone who thinks they're masculine and thinks that they're a masculine man want to embellish and promote an idea that he is feminine? Unless he's so oblivious to what he just said he feels about himself that he basically exposes something that he doesn't even realize he exposed, because he just automatically feels that way about himself because he already feels inferior, you know. But yeah, for me personally, I must say, I do financially benefit off of this, and I touched upon this in my Cohen Nanik videos too, somewhat, where, I talked about some white men who are obsessed with BBC cuckold situations. Basically, they, admire black men. They basically have an obsession with black men, and they have like an idea that they prefer their masculinity over their own, and they feel their own masculinity is inferior. So that's basically all I have to say on this. Like I said, I have no issue with it. I mean, I talk to guys like him every day, and it's a major way I make money, honestly. I love talking to guys about things like this. My favorite guys to talk about these issues and these things is, I love to degrade, black men, because it's easy. All you have to do is figure out all the things you want to say that are offensive, talk about slavery and all that stuff. And this is offensive on a space where someone would not appreciate being called this, but this is a situation where black men would specifically get off on me talking about this. So this is not specifically to attack black men. This is a situation where a black man prefers to be called these things because it's sexually arousing for him. So for me anyway, in my job, what I do, I love to talk to men like that. I love to talk to men who are BBC cuckolds, similar to this kind of situation. They have the same mindset and everything as what this guy is expressing. but they generally don't focus on black women as much because their focus is on white women and black men. Honestly, I must say, sex between black men and white women is very expensive. Honestly, I mean, just talking about it, there's so many people that have so many fantasies about it. Honestly, it's not just black men, but it's also white men, and it's fun. Honestly, it's fun because you can cash in many different ways. Then also outside of that, I do love to talk to guys who are um, basically, they're connected to the BBC cuckold, but they can also be like they like to I just like to call them bisexuals, gay, things like that. Um, they like to call themselves another type of name that I don't like to call them that, but I'll say it to them when they need me to say that word. I'm not very homophobic, so but I'll say whatever. It helps somebody, get their nut off or whatever. But yeah, so to me, anyway, I do think that this guy has some kind of fetish with black men and blackness as in its masculinity and whiteness in its femininity, basically. Because that's the type of person who is usually obsessed with this kind of ideology. It doesn't benefit him personally to think of himself in a feminine light unless he already feels feminine, and that's not a case for concern for him. So that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment down below and have a great day. Comment down below and have a great day.